Good morning, guys. Up bright and early. Fall is here. It's 6:30 in the morning and it's pitch black out. It'll be black again tonight at 5:30, so short hours. Yesterday I had a meeting with Aunt Angie and Lorraine, who is my insider for the Macwilliams case. She's a family member. And these two girls, when you get them together, they know everything about every crime that has been committed in this city. And I'm not saying that facetiously. They know. One worked in the bar for 40 years. One drives a cab. They know everybody, and they know what everybody's doing. And these are the type of old girls that you need to sit down when you want information on something. And funny enough, Lorraine actually has information and had Luke Jolie in her cab the night he went missing. So I'm going to ask her some questions about that, and I want you guys to have a little bit of an inside look here into a lunch meeting that we had. It's only audio, but some cool discussions going on here. I do have to redact a lot of the stuff that's being said because they talked about multiple cases, cold cases, current cases, crime, and things that are going on right now. These are the rumors that little towns where everybody knows what's going on and everybody knows who did what to who. And there's always grains of truth in these things, right? So I think it's very interesting. And if you guys want to learn a little bit more about, how we sit down and figure out where we're going to go next when we're looking at these cases, give this video a watch.
I was just wondering, because we're open to other things, when we're asking a question about a certain case, is it possible that somebody totally could
Irrelevant?
come up in that? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that day it was saying Bobby.
Yeah.
Brittany's Uncle Bobby died under strange circumstances.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not great at exactly the time. But I've racked my brain, like you said, it comes up in yours. So maybe he's going through you to me, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that there are dead people all around us, many different people trying to tell us their stories, get us to help them, get us to speak with them, pass on their messages all the time. So that wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Okay.
If the Bobby that we heard while out doing the case at the lake there, we did hear Bob and Bobby come through a couple times. I hear Bob come through all the time, though. And
you know what's weird? There's no Bob I can figure out anywhere in our family, except, like I say, our
Robert Seth. And Grant and I clearly asked, is it Robert Seth coming through as Bob? And they said no. They clearly answered no.
And then, I have to look at my papers, but it's about our 4th great-grandfather was Robert Armstrong Reed.
Okay, so
that would seem weird.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him, and
all I know is he lived in England.
There's some connection with Kaylee and Bob, because the one session we did at the graveyard, it said, Grant and I asked, who is this? And it said Bob. So Grant and I started making fun of Kaylee, saying, your new nickname is Bob. And I had another spirit box running 100 meters away in the truck, and at the same time, it went off and said, it is Bob.
It is Bob.
So, was my daughter Bob in a previous life? I don't know. She could have been maybe this Robert Armstrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess, That's kind of weird.
I mean, we draw our own conclusions. It's weird. But today I'm doing a test, asking questions about Maisie to get answers from somebody who can actually confirm, the things that they're saying. Is there any truth to this, or is this just all ear pareidolia? I don't know. And right now, Aunt Angie and I are heading to lunch with my informant. We need to come up with a name for this person because I can't keep calling her the informant. So we'll figure that out as well. But we're going to go for lunch and we're going to discuss both the Macwilliams murder case and Luke Jolie's case. Okay, so we're a little bit early for lunch, but Aunt Angie just asked a question that I wanted to ask myself. So I guess there's no other way. I have to say that this person we're going to meet here also drives cab. Okay, I have to say that because she told me that she picked up Luke
the night that he disappeared. And she brought that forward to the police. Now, you just said how much was his cab fare. And I already mentioned this morning. We know that he only took out $20 from his bank and then he lost his card downtown. The card wasn't used again. We don't know if he had more cash on him, though, than that.
That's
right?
the thing.
So, but I mentioned this morning, I said, would a young brash fella say, hey, I'm going to cab it across town with $20 and hopefully my cab fare is less than 20 and then I'm going to drink on what's left?
Well, his cab fare would have been less than 20 because I myself, when I worked at the Voyager, used to take a cab home to Albert Street. So I would put that at about the same amount of distance, except going the other way.
But you sure as hell wouldn't have enough or very much left to drink on.
Like I'm saying, it's...
And how much was a beer in 2011? Probably $4 and something.
I was trying to figure it out from when I worked in a bar, so I would say, hey, probably closer to $5 if I would have to take a guess.
So maybe, just maybe, Luke would have had enough for one beer, maybe two.
And no way to get back to where he was going unless he planned on walking in the cold winter.
Yes, right.
I don't know. Doesn't make an awful lot of sense.
So we need to know, where did she drop him off in the cab that night? Did he pay cash? How much did he give her? And just little things, all this she told me she gave to the police. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't have this on file somewhere, but none of this has ever been mentioned that, we can confirm that he was at this bar because he took a cab there. They never mentioned that.
It doesn't say cab. No, it says they confirm he was there.
But that was because people came forward and said they saw him there.
And I would imagine, if I were to hazard to guess, it would probably be staff members.
Yeah,
the staff tend to have more interaction with the people than just random people. Don't pay attention. If you go in a bar, you're going to be looking around going,
right.
Oh, there's
and they would notice him because he wouldn't be a regular either.
The first thing to cross your mind is, is this going to be a problem? You know what I mean? You like to know your customers.
Yeah.
So you kind of, I guess, pay more attention than you normally would.
So you were just saying, what would possess Luke to go to that bar specifically at the Voyager? Because it was an older bar. And I had a thought that Luke loved music. From the time he was a little kid, he was big into music, and his passion was music. So you had told me before that one of those bars up there always had live music.
Yeah, the actual Stan and Ollie's always did. And on Saturdays in the afternoon, anybody could get up and play.
So now they said something about, I believe the one he went to was Shooters. Is that different than the one Stan and Ollie's? Or was that just what they renamed it after?
They renamed it, yes. It's the same place, but I just know it as Stan and Ollie's when I worked in there, because there was also the Peacock Lounge.
So did they have, that'd be interesting to find out if they had live music there that night. Maybe he went there for the music. We may have answered our own question why he ended up at that particular bar, because we were saying there was another bar, the Fraser House, which was only a block away from where he was denied access. And that's where I thought originally, when they were talking about him going to another bar, I thought that's where he went. Would have made sense for him just to walk over to the Fraser House. But that's an old farts bar as well, right? Like you...
Yeah.
That's where the old cougars hang out to get the young guys. So unless you were in town looking for some action, that could be another thing too. But he was in town already to see a young girl, a young lady, supposedly. So I don't think that was it.
But anybody could get up, play guitar, sing a song, even horrid people, like horrid singers or whatever.
Yeah.
So he may have heard that and thought it was going on in the evening, but it normally just went on in the afternoons, and may have thought he could get up and play guitar or something, which he probably could have. If you talk to the band, they used to let people get up with them, so...
Now, what I learned doing research on him was that he was into music from the time he was a little kid, and he had a guitar from the time he was like 2 years old, so that may answer why he went to that bar.
That very well could be.
Maisie. Oh, I want to talk to you about Maisie.
Okay.
Remember how she met? Okay, you go ahead.
So you sent me the thing to fill in the blanks, and I did that this morning, but I forgot my book at home.
Okay.
And really, some of it I could make out, some of it I couldn't. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I wanted to ask you if any of the names that who's Martha? What does that mean?
That name means shit to me. I don't know who Martha is. I've been through everything. I don't know who Martha is, but I figured out who Mark is that has the ring. You mentioned that in one of your sessions. I got it here. Just a minute. I bring everything when I go somewhere. I have been very busy driving up all these crazy known associates they had. Oh, I gotta remember what. No, it's not that one. Watch your show too much, you know that, eh? I've listened to those tapes over and over and over again.
Well, it makes sense.
Oh, where's that?
What I was doing this morning was trying to get information that we could verify from somebody living. So I thought, I'm going to do a session on Maisie and ask questions about Maisie. So now I did get information in there. I was telling Angie, it says her husband's name because I asked, and it
Right.
clearly says a name.
Right?
Is it right or not? I don't know. But we're going to get to the bottom of what is speaking on the noise of the fish tank and through the spirit box as well. Is there any truth to it? Because a lot of what we're getting we can't verify in a 60-year-old cold case. But there will be questions. It's told me something about her dad. It told me her brother's name. I never asked about her brother, but it said her brother's name, and then it said a name, and then it said Maisie's husband, clear as can be, Maisie's husband, and then it says a name that's very clear. So all this is in the video, and I'm going to have her watch it after I finish editing it, right or wrong, and we'll see. And if none of this makes any sense and none of it's right, we have to reevaluate what the hell we're doing, because I really believe that someone is communicating with us. And if it can't even give us information that she can verify,
I believe it's Carol and Jack, just like you say. Because when you talk about them,
100%
I
Carol.
get that same shiver.
100%
Bad
Carol.
enough my grandmother's riding around in my cab with me.
Carol came
The
through.
psychic told me that. My grandmother's there.
Carol came through and said something because I'm doing the spiel this morning, and out of the blue it says handsome, and I'm listening. I started laughing. It said you're handsome, and I started laughing. I looked at the camera. I'm like, I think that was Carol saying that. I said, oh, Carol, always flirting with the
they've
boys.
left you at all.
No.
Sometimes I think some of the dialogue coming through when you're doing other sessions
Is
is
about
related
them.
to them.
Yes.
Because you say Ian, you say all of that.
Yes.
I can hear them as
I
plain
just
as day.
asked him that about if other ones are coming through too because of certain names that we heard.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there are many things
Oh,
going
did
on
you tell
around
your
us.
Aunt Angie who killed Jack?
No.
Oh, that's who shot my Jack. Ian shot Carol. There's no denying that. He told his wife, so.
Well, yeah, we'd heard that
But-
story that she went out in public and was saying that
Yeah,
numerous
yeah.
times.
She's told me that before. She was nice to me. Ian was an asshole.
And it's weird. Okay, we talk about that voice came up on the spirit thing, Buzz, and I said we need to track down a Buzz, and everybody was like, there is no Buzz. I keep looking for proof. Well, they already give us proof. They said names of people that are real and things that have happened that I could not know about.
I have no idea who Martha is. Who the hell's her letters in here
When I
somewhere?
rack my brain, it's nothing I've ever heard already of Martha.
Yeah, I racked my brain over that one too. But when you did your session the other day and they mentioned Priscilla, I was about gagged.
So you heard it say Priscilla.
Oh yeah, I heard
Okay,
it.
well
I'm
that was his sister's name.
I heard it.
Well,
Like Pat Pregamini wasn't Italian, by the way. She married an Italian, but she's a Vandenberg.
That's
Okay.
right.
She's not
she
Italian
was.
at all.
I don't see.
So
the-
the Capiche thing was probably black.
so
or
I could be
something,
so I
no.
could be right or wrong on any of these things. I don't know, and that's what I love
It's
about
your
it.
interpretation.
It's exactly. And if they really want me to know something, they need to make it as clear as can be. 'Cause
yeah.
You see, Pat was found dead by Lizzie and Tip. What's Elizabeth Loken?
Oh yeah, I remember the Locans. They're part of
Okay.
my family too.
I need to come up with a name for you. We can't keep calling you my informant.
I don't like that word anyways. Look what happened to Jack.
I know you don't like that word.
Lorraine, the mother and the daughter were in the restaurant, and she was dating Stan Guinard, and Donald Kelly, she was cheating on him, and Donald Kelly went in there and punched the shit out of the guy. Stan Guinard used to be his boxing coach. So
Okay.
one of these, I think that's Donald. Look at he's that M.T. Davidson schooling calendar.
Oh, wow.
I was going to ask you, did you have any luck tracking down the autopsy report?
Oh, yes. So there's a way you have to do that. So I have to sit down and I just watched a whole YouTube video and write this fancy letter to them. Because if you have one thing wrong, they kick it back to you.
So here's my question on that.
Stupid bullshit.
They told me that there's no files.
There is files. They're with the OPP
I'm going to say there
office.
has to be files if there's an autopsy report.
There is autopsy reports. They're big liars.
So
down
if
there.
you get an autopsy report, then we really need to figure out how to get the rest of those
I want
files.
the whole file that the OPP has. Apparently there's a few files.
Trying to
Don't worry,
verify.
I'll share it. When I get all these articles downloaded, you'll get a copy of a stick with them all on them. I told you I know where the gun is, right? The gun is in the river. Not where you guys were. It's right in the article when she was testifying in court. She said she They wrapped it up in a plastic bag and threw it in the river, but not at that bridge. And there's 4 of them. I've been to all 4.
Yes, there are 4. I've been there.
So in one of those bridges, they tossed the gun. And
I want to ask you, on a side note, because you mentioned it last time in passing, that about Luke Jolie. So I've just did 2 videos
Luke. Yeah.
on Luke. Now, you told me that you actually picked him up
Yeah, he was in the taxi with me the night before he died. That's
the night
horrible.
before or the night of?
Well, he went missing that night, yes.
On the
So what
Friday,
happened
March
was
4th.
I got a call up in North Bay, downtown, to pick up some guys to come back to Callander. It's after 2 o'clock in the morning. I go and picked them up and come around the corner onto Main Street off of Wild. They made a left, and here's these 3 guys there. The 2 ran over, and I said, "Are you guys from Callander?" And they're like, yeah, that's us. But they lied to me. So they said, "Can you give this kid a ride to the other side of the overpass?" So I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So he got in the front seat with me, and I'm looking at him, and I go, "Wow, you're kind of cute." And I said, "Oh, you got braces on?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he shows me. I go, "When are you getting those out?" And a week from now, I said, "So you ever got tangled up with a girl with those things?" And he goes, "No, that never happened." He goes, "But I'm getting them out next week, so I won't have to worry about them." I said, "Where's your coat?" And he goes, "I didn't bring it with me." He didn't have his jacket with him. He says, "I'll be okay." I says, "Cold out there. Where's your coat?" And he said, "Oh, didn't bring it with him." So we talked about his last name, because I thought I got him confused with the family from Trout Creek, but they're actually, he goes, "No, those are the Jolliffs, and we're the Joly family." He goes, "They build houses, we don't." So I'm like, okay. So, I dropped him off, and he disappeared on Lakeshore, the 100 block.
That's super important, because you're saying he didn't have his jacket.
No, he didn't have his jacket.
And what time? You said this was after 2 o'clock.
After 2 in the morning, yeah. So
And
a week later,
you picked him up on Main Street, and
on
you
Main
went
Street,
down Lakeshore.
And we went down to, I dropped him off in the 100 block of Lakeshore, just by McDonald's.
So the complete opposite direction of the Voyager.
He could have went to the Voyager. Remember, they got refused entry. He might have walked up there and then got a ride back down, and then was looking for his friends downtown.
Did he pay you for the ride?
No, he asked me to give him a ride because he didn't have any money, but he had a $20 bill in his hand. So I said to myself, "Oh, he's going to buy some pot or something," because he had $20 on him, right? And he was getting out at Lakeshore, so I figured he's going to buy some weed, and then he's going back home.
This all makes sense, because he took $20 out from the bank machine that afternoon. Then he lost his bank card.
I know where his bank card probably went. Running from Lakeshore back to Sherbrooke Street, it probably came out of his pocket on the way.
But how would he have been drinking all night if he only had $20?
He wasn't drinking. I never found that he was drinking. I mean, he looked perfectly sober to me.
But I thought he was turned away from the one bar because they said he was drunk.
I don't know. He didn't seem drunk to me.
And the friend said,
Was it for being drunk, or was it
and the
for
friend
riding?
said that they were drinking before they even went out to the bar.
Probably, but he didn't look drunk to me. I mean, maybe he's feeling good, but he didn't look drunk. I don't know. He didn't look drunk to me.
Well, you would know, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look drunk to me. He looked like he. I was like, "Where's your coat?" That's what I said to him. "Where's your coat?"
Do you remember? Did he have a purple belt on?
I don't know. He was sitting beside me.
Because
so
it'd be pretty flashy. But I mean, it would be late.
The belt,
it'd be
but
dark.
he had no coat and no backpack. It was just him and his $20, and he got dropped off. See, someone told me to make him.
Well, we know that already. I heard that.
They did that.
So they told me that.
Where you think his body is wrong, and stop picking up those Indian burial mounds. You better set a big.
Somebody else told me it was an Indian
You
marriage.
better have done a lot of. You better smudge your aunt too.
You know,
she was there too.
You know,
Luke's concerned. A week later, I'm at No Frills, and I'm going through the cash to pay for my groceries, and I look at the till, and I seen his face there. Of course, I remembered him. I'm like, oh, and I didn't say nothing for a whole week, because when I picked those fuckers up, they lied to me. I'm driving by one of the hotels, and they go, stop. And I'm like, I thought you were going to Callander. And then I knew I'd get in trouble for taking trips that aren't mine, so I didn't say nothing for a whole week. That's what the cop asked me too. I said I was scared. I didn't want to get a ticket. But then I thought about the poor kid, so, I had to do something.
Okay, so you forwarded this all to the police.
Oh, that's a whole story too. I went home and I wrote down a whole statement on pieces of paper, and I drove around with it for a couple of days because I didn't know what to do. I was scared, right? And then I saw 2 cops sitting at the first Timmy's on Lakeshore. I didn't know they were going to make a drug bust across the street, and here I am, walk up to the window and knock on it and scare the shit out of them.
So you interrupted their drug bust.
Can you bring this in for me? And he's like, what is it? I said, I had Luke Joly in my cab. And the first thing he goes, why didn't you tell us a week ago? I said, because I was scared. And then I don't hear nothing from them for 2 weeks. Then I'm pissed.
Do you have a copy of that of the statement that you wrote for them
they gotta
somewhere?
have it. They
Okay.
probably have it. I gave it to them because I was all freaked out, and I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks, and I was mad. And then I picked up someone from the OPP who's friends with the detective, and I'm like, why did nobody get back to me? So they bring me in for an interview, and they don't believe me, of course. You know, that's the way they operate. You know, why should we believe anything you say?
Yeah.
And I said, well, he told me he was getting his braces off in a week. So he left the room and he came back, and then he had a different attitude because I guess the dad said, yeah, he's getting his braces off next week.
Okay,
so when you metal
that's
detect,
verified.
remember they,
Yeah.
that
So he
is
still had the
verified.
money. So
And
my
then
question.
they ran on the news about how they were looking for the 2 guys in the picture in the bank machine. Wasn't those the guys I had in the cab with
That's
me?
what I was just going to ask you. Who were the 2 guys?
I don't know. I didn't know them from a hole in the wall, but I dropped them off between the Best Western and the Comfort Inn. So I had a friend who was the manager of the Best Western. She checked all the records, and there was no one that stayed there from Ottawa. So I think they were in what's the one beside it, the Comfort Inn?
Okay.
That's where they stayed. But the cops, I don't think they ever bothered to look. I told them they were from Ottawa. He probably told them other things that he didn't say in the cab.
So there, you guys have just heard something that no one else has ever heard about this case. Probably one of the last people to see Luke alive, and she has a very detailed account, as you guys just heard. She's a very personable person. When you get in the cab, she's asking you questions like that. And this is what I love about Lorraine. She is down to earth. She curses like a sailor. She tells you like it is. And she said, he got in, I noticed, hey, this kid's cute. You know, this is just the way she talks. This is the way she is. She's very honest and open. And I believe 100% that she had him in the cab. And these are the small details that we're trying to pick up, right? These 2 guys that he was with were from Ottawa. I don't think those 2 guys had anything to do with his disappearance. However, what does this answer? This does answer that he was still alive at 2 o'clock in the morning. This does tell us where he was, where he got dropped off. They could do, I'm getting shivers down the back of my neck. They could do some kind of investigation to say what was going on where he got dropped off. Was it a house known for selling weed? Right? This is just what Lorraine thinks happened. You know, he had $20. What was he going to do? He's a teenager. He's going to go buy some pot. Then he's going to go back to the apartment and smoke it with his buddies. Now, she did tell me that she had heard something else that happened, that there was a scuffle at the apartment and that Luke was actually killed inside the apartment, that he was shoved, hit his head on a coffee table, and they panicked and freaked out and didn't know what to do with him. This was the rumor that she heard. I mean, there's so many rumors going on, but we can tell from what Lorraine said happened that night, where he was, where she dropped him off, and we can kind of piece things together. If those 2 guys from Ottawa could have been tracked down exactly like she says, Luke could have been talking about, you know, oh, I wasn't getting along with my friends tonight, or this or that, or information that we just have no clue, right? And I can guarantee you that that was never followed up on. But the valuable clue right there, both in terms of where he was. So she's saying that he was back down on Main Street at 2 in the morning when she picked him up. And she went the complete opposite direction of the Voyager Inn with him. So that also tells us that Teddy was not the last person to have seen Luke and give him a ride from the bar, right? Which was what I had heard, that's how he became a suspect, was that Teddy had had a drink with him at the bar and then drove him. Now, Teddy may have drove him. Actually, no, wait, let's backtrack. Teddy may have actually given him a ride back down to Main Street. How did Luke get from the Voyager back down to Main Street? He could have got a ride with Teddy. Okay? But this proves, Lorraine's testimony here proves that he was still alive at 2 o'clock in the morning after that, and there were 2 other people that knew it because they got in the cab with him. So just little things like this, guys. This is how you have to be a detective and piece these things together. So thanks for listening in, guys. I just thought it was kind of a cool inside look at how we piece things together, get clues and ideas of where to go with these cases. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.